Good morning, everyone. Oh man, yeah, I can see by by your comments, you guys have been following this wacky mess. Uh and you can kind of laugh at it because the guy's so stupid, but I'm starting to get really annoyed. Like I was already getting pretty annoyed with it. I was already getting pretty annoyed. Uh and now and I started off like thinking, well, the judge, she's the most patient lady in the world, blah blah blah. I'm starting to think she's a little too patient because at this point I'm of the opinion that she has forfeited the control of the courtroom to him, and that is making a mockery out of our justice system altogether. So I mean, we're going to make jokes, but I'm really feeling like this judge needs to start stepping it up. Give me 1 second here. I don't know where we're at right now. I was setting up and everything, so
Yes. That video image is a good distance. It's about 50 yards.
And you can tell from the video that you just watched today, you can tell the gender of the individual that you saw crossing the street, as you say.
Well, when I saw it originally, I had zoom. Okay, the feature of the camera zooms, so your image was real clear.
So the image was real clear when you had zoom. Any reason why this particular image doesn't have that feature?
They can do whatever they want.
it's not his voice that makes me
there's an
angry.
objection.
It's that he's trying to sound more educated than he is. He's trying to come off like that.
Overrule if
And
you
he's
know the
patronizing
I don't know
everyone else in the courtroom who is much more intelligent than he is, and it's insulting to them. That's why you're mad. I promise you that's exactly why you're mad. If you hadn't put that together, I'm saying
And was that all you saw?
I'm being as arrogant as I can in speaking for you, because that's exactly what I am getting out of this.
That's the only thing that I was focused on.
Yes, he's defending himself. Yes. Well, see, Kanye's just nuts. See, I'm onto this guy. What he's doing is he's stalling.
Contacted by about
this is all a stall and manipulation tactic. He knows he's guilty. He knows he's going to get proven guilty.
On Monday, identified themselves and then told me that other detectives might show up on Wednesday, and other detectives did show up on Wednesday. I didn't write down their names.
Do you recall what agency they were from?
Police department.
Do you recall if they were Waukesha Police Department or some other jurisdiction?
I'm pretty sure they were Waukesha, but I didn't ask.
Did those detectives ever follow up with you after those initial dates from that Monday, I think you said, and the Wednesday?
Never saw her again after Wednesday.
Did you yourself follow up with law enforcement after those 2 visits?
No.
No, the judge is being too lenient, I think, at this point. I think that she's coddled him enough. That's just my opinion. I mean, you all are entitled to your opinions. That's why I have the chat open. That's why I'm covering this and going over this with you guys. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a court officer in any way, shape, or form.
When you were subpoenaed to testify in this matter?
Late July, early August.
Do you recall by whom?
Waukesha County District Attorney's Office.
Yeah, Joe Nathan, I agree with you. And I reached this point today.
Do you
I was
suppose
watching
his name
this and
on
I
that
was just like,
subpoena?
this is enough.
I would have to take a look at it to recall it.
And once you received the subpoena, did you call the Waukesha District Attorney's Office to gather any information about the subpoena?
Exactly,
A few
crimes and
days
fashion. See, I'm of the
getting close
opinion.
to October 3rd, I made a phone call.
I'm of the opinion that he keeps stalling by saying, hey, I don't understand, and I feel like the judge should be saying, at least at this point, if not a long time ago, I'm not here to walk you through the law. You chose to represent yourself, period. That's it. I'm not here to put you through law school. All of us went through law school. It's not our fault that you didn't. You have the right to an attorney, which you waived. And so I make a ruling, and that ruling stands. And if you have a problem with my ruling, then look it up in a law book.
Still, at that point, later I received a text saying that I was on call as a witness.
Did you receive that text the same day that you called the district attorney's office, or sometime after?
It might have been the same day. It might have been the next day.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the case in Wisconsin, the Christmas parade, where
Did you yourself at any time file
he
any
allegedly
claims
drove.
in relation to this matter?
No.
This man allegedly
Do you know of
drove
anyone who filed any
through a
claims
crowd,
in relations to this matter?
killing 6, including children,
That's a
and
privacy
injuring,
issue.
I think, a dozen.
I know that my grandchildren received counseling, and I think that a Waukesha Community Fund might have helped cover some of that.
Do you
No,
recall the
he's
name
not.
of
He's
the
not on
fund?
the stand. He's
No.
in the defense chair. He's defending himself. Right, Emmy. Yeah. Yeah, like they got him dead to rights. It's just he's manipulating the justice system to stall
And to your knowledge, the fund that
and
you
basically
speak of was
troll.
strictly geared towards counseling.
I'm not privy to what it was geared toward.
Yeah, he wants to know why the ruling was either sustained or overruled every
So would
time.
it be fair to say that there was a financial interest attached to this incident?
Absolutely not.
And how
There's a
did you
mental
come-
health interest.
And I don't know the significance of this witness.
And how's everybody doing now? Are they okay?
Objection irrelevant.
Grounds
Sustained,
for relevance?
yes.
Wow, he said the word right, because he's been saying relevancy this whole time, but he actually said relevance this time. Amazing. Good for you. Using your words, Darrel. Good for you, buddy.
Have at any time you yourself had any personal interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Do you know if there's a plaintiff in this matter? Grounds,
Relevant.
Sustained.
grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
She's just ignoring him at this
Relevant.
point. Like, she's so over him today. So is the prosecutor. The DA's just like done.
Do you recall?
Like,
if the
she's
plaintiff
getting
in this
pissed at
matter
the
reached out
judge.
to you in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant. Asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained for those reasons. Also as to the form of the question.
Just for the record, it wasn't asked and answered. Just for the record.
Next question, please.
Wow.
Do you yourself know if there even is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection. Argumentative.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Yeah, he's like making up loopholes. He's not even finding loopholes. He's making them up. He doesn't want to be called Mr. Brooks because he's seen his name in documents in all caps, and he's like, I don't spell my name with all caps, so I'm not going to be referred to as Mr. Brooks. So the wrong person's on trial here.
No, I'd ask that Mr. Emerson be excused, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You are excused.
And I love the cop behind him.
Go ahead.
That guy's the epitome of patience to me. Because I know he wants to just put him in a chokehold. Like, I know it. I could tell. That's why I put him in the thumbnail. You look at my thumbnail, you can just see the look on his face.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. It is up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Leonard Miller, Leonard, Miller, Miller.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Miller, on November 21 of 2021, where did you reside?
Overruled, the witness may answer.
126 Central Avenue,
That's here in the city of Waukesha?
Waukesha, yes.
Okay. Do you have any home security systems in place at your residence, sir?
Objection speculative.
Overruled, the witness may answer.
That's not
Yes,
speculative.
I have 2 doorbell cameras and a floodlight cam.
Are you able to record the events that are captured on the security camera?
Yes,
And can those recordings be shared with others?
yes.
At some point, shortly after November 21 of 2021, were you contacted by the Waukesha Police Department?
It was actually that evening.
Okay. Tell us about it, please.
Well, actually, after everything transpired, I just got done setting up my Christmas lights. And I was in the house, and my wife came down from taking a shower. I said, let's go look at the lights. We stepped outside. Well, we started to step out the front door, and there was actually a SWAT team in our front yard.
Okay.
So I said, we're not going to look at the lights now. So then after a little bit, I started looking through my cameras, and I noticed somebody running up my driveway on the one camera.
Did you
So
recognize the person?
I did not.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hold on, there's been an objection. It's overruled. His answer may stand. If there are further objections, please wait until I rule on them before you
Sorry.
answer. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, so you saw somebody on the recording that you did not recognize.
Correct.
Hold on. Overruled.
Answer.
It's foundational. I'll allow it, but please move on.
Asked and answered already.
What
Go
did you,
ahead.
what did you do when you saw that, sir?
I called the Waukesha Police Department. And a short while later, a couple officers came over and walked through my property and through the garage and made sure nobody was there. Then about an hour or so later, I believe it was a detective called me and asked if I could send them the copy of the video.
Did you do that?
I did.
Prior to doing that, did you alter the content of the video in any fashion, sir?
No,
Overruled, the witness may answer. Go ahead.
How is
I
that
did not.
speculative?
I have no way of.
Either you
I put it in
altered
my
it or you didn't.
Okay.
That's not
How did you send it
speculative.
to the police officers?
Via email.
Okay. I'm going to put up on your screen next to you, Exhibit 159, please. This is a 20-second clip, and I'm going to play it for you at regular speed, and then I'll ask you a question, okay?
Sure.
Is it 159?
Exhibit 159 is what I wrote down. And yes. Go ahead.
Right, Christina. It's totally manipulative. It's not going to work, but what he's basically doing, like he knows he's dead to
Mr. Miller,
rights.
is that the recording
and he's
you
trying
provided
to-
the Waukesha Police Department?
He's just trying to
Yes.
stall.
Do you believe this is a true and accurate depiction of the events at your home on November 21 of 2021?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
In the upper right-hand corner of the recording, I noticed there's a date and time stamp. Do you see that?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Do you believe that was
Hold on,
accurate
overruled.
reflection? I'm sorry.
The witness's answer may stand.
This
Go
is
ahead,
a
Mr.
circus.
Do you believe the date and time stamp on the recording are accurate, sir?
Yes.
And what, if you could read, please, the date and time stamp on Exhibit 159.
Oh, those are
November
just trolls,
21st,
Emma. Or
2021,
Emmy.
04/48/16 p.m.
Move to omit Exhibit 159, Your Honor.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Relevance.
159 is received.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any cross, sir?
Yes, briefly.
Go ahead when you're
Yeah,
ready.
Angela Marie, I agree with you.
Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Good morning.
Before today, it would be fair to assume that you saw that footage before today.
Yes.
Yeah, I took the footage, idiot.
And you stated a little bit earlier that when stepping out to view the Christmas lights, you noticed a SWAT team in your yard.
Correct.
What do you mean by SWAT team?
Fully armed.
Tactical
rifles in
gear,
hand,
rifles.
helmets
Coordinated.
on, officers in my front yard. And on the street of my front yard. I should clarify that, in the street of my front yard.
Did you notice?
They had vests on that said
vehicle
SWAT
they may have been in
across
at
them.
that time?
They got out of vehicles that said SWAT.
I'm sorry.
Across
could
the
you
vehicles?
Repeat that question, please.
Did you notice at the time that you observed the SWAT team in your yard? Did you notice any vehicle that they may have been in at that time?
I did observe a squad car down the street. Whether it was theirs or not, I cannot say for sure.
And do you recall what police agency you turned the video footage over to?
Limey.
Yeah, it was the Waukesha Police Department.
Do you remember the name of the officer that you turned the video footage over to?
I am sorry, I do not.
Do you recall filing a report at that time?
No report was made.
So it'd be fair to say the extent of your interaction with law enforcement was strictly about the video footage.
Correct.
Do you recall if law enforcement followed up with you about the footage?
I don't believe so.
Did you yourself follow up with law enforcement about the video footage?
Why would he?
I did not.
He's not an investigator. Like, here, I have evidence. Do what you will with it. Hope it works out. That's what you do. Period. So basically he's asking, so did you Karen the footage with law
And
enforcement?
do you recall when you were
Did you
subpoenaed to testify
behave
in
like a
this matter?
Karen with law enforcement after you
I'm
gave
sorry, I
them
didn't hear the first part of your question.
the footage?
I'm sorry. I have a bit of a cold, so.
Sure.
Do you recall when you were subpoenaed to testify in this matter?
I can't remember the exact date, but it was a few weeks ago.
And when you received the subpoena, did you follow up with the district attorney's office? I'm assuming that that's who served the subpoena.
I did.
Do you recall whom you spoke with?
I do not recall the name. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody has to be polite to this idiot. Everybody does. Like, it's crazy. He's totally
Did you
basically
yourself file
taken
any
the whole
claims in relation to this matter?
courtroom hostage.
I have not.
Do you know of anyone who filed a claim in relation to this matter?
Personally, no.
To the best of your recollection, do you recall being contacted by the plaintiff in this matter?
So, like, the analogy that I keep
And other than regards to the summons, no.
the analogy that I keep coming to here, like what I keep comparing this to, this is like the equivalent of, okay, like, say somebody's in a really fancy restaurant, right? They're in a really fancy restaurant, and then they do something really fucked up in that fancy restaurant, and then they get kicked out. But the thing is, the fancy restaurant, they can't use force. They can't use force. They can't make a scene because it's bad for business. You know, so what this person does is they're going to get their final word on their way out the door as they have to get up and walk out. This is his way of pulling a Jerry Maguire moment where, you know, he's speaking and everybody needs to listen to him and he gets to tell his side of everything and blah, 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 even though he totally acted like an ass and deserved to get the fuck kicked out. So what he's doing basically is just stalling, and I'm going to leave on my terms. You don't get to dictate when I leave this premises. Basically, society being the literal thing that we're talking about here. You don't get to kick me out of society. I get to leave society on my terms. So I'm just going to cause a scene, and I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to absolutely and totally manipulate every fucking constitutional right that I have in order to annoy the fuck out of you on my way out. That's exactly what he's doing here. And then he gets to question and cross-examine victims
Would you yourself
that he
classify
ran over with his car because they were at a Christmas parade.
State of Wisconsin. Would you classify
Because he had a
them
fight with his girlfriend.
as a living human being?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague, irrelevant. Are you Tentative.
Sustained for those reasons.
Grounds.
Would it be fair to say that a state cannot be a human being?
Wow. What the fuck does this witness have anything to do with that?
It could be argued philosophically, I guess, yes,
And
but I don't know. No.
no,
He's just, oh
Personally,
God,
no.
this guy sucks.
Philosophically, I suppose you could argue that the state
Okay.
is a
I can break that down right now
state, one state.
with my 8th grade education. Okay. I can break that down right now. The state, yes, the state can be considered a person. The reason why is because we live in a democracy. And so people voted to have people represent, such as the DA, represent the people, not just one person, but the people of Wisconsin. Okay? So therefore, yes, the state is a person. It's not just one person, it's many people. It's everybody who wants to see you rot in jail for the shit that you did. That's why it's called the people versus Darrell Brooks. Dickhead.
What was the last part, Your Honor?
Not relevant.
Have you ever seen the state of Wisconsin at any time?
Objection.
What?
Tentative.
Grounds.
Sustained for those reasons.
What reasons? I didn't hear.
For those reasons, it was also asked previously.
I wish somebody would explain it the way that I just did. I mean, maybe I'm just stupid, you know.
That question.
That's
was
fair,
asked
but-
previously, for the record.
If I'm on that stand, I'm going to go, well, the person that was voted in to represent the state of Wisconsin in this matter is sitting right there in that chair. And they're going to ask me questions when you're done. So, yeah,
So
that's
to
the
best
state of
your
Wisconsin
knowledge,
right
is
there.
the state of Wisconsin an injured party in this matter?
Your Honor, I object. And
Grounds.
ask you to direct the defendant to move on.
Grounds.
The objection
I
is
think the judge has
sustained
to do that, not
Pursuant,
the DA.
the objection is sustained. Next question, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the reason for the sustain.
It's not relevant.
Your Honor, I object to it not being relevant. He clearly stated
Mr.
the
Brooks,
plaintiff.
please move on. I've made my ruling. Thank you.
I don't know how that's not relevant. Seems to me
It's
that there's
not
no plaintiff.
anybody else's responsibility to cater to your stupidity.
I
And
remind
ignorance.
the jury to disregard comments made by the parties. They are not evidence.
There's no plaintiff. No further questions.
It's not a civil case, you idiot.
No, I'd ask that Mr. Miller be excused, please.
Sir, thank you. You may step down and you are excused.
Thank you.
How can an entity be a plaintiff?
That's his whole defense.
Take a short mid-morning break for about 15 minutes. I'll rise for the jury, please.
He's basing his whole defense on that the plaintiff is not an actual person.
All right, it's 10:32. Be back in 15 minutes. We are in recess. Thank you.
So in the meantime, let's watch some of the shenanigans from earlier before I went live. Now, mind you, it's going to make you want to pull your hair out.
Thank you. Be seated. Go ahead.
We counted 15 jurors in the courtroom.
Excuse one.
You excused one earlier in the week too, though.
No, I'm only talking about the one. The other one I didn't excuse.
I see.
And,
Okay.
and thank you, I'll make a record of that. I did not excuse given when that person reported their symptoms and where we're at today.
Oh, he does that constantly, Kelly
So
Dime.
it would be,
So that person is here
yes,
and willing to continue serving.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sure. And I will make a further record that none of the jurors are wearing masks. I'm not going to mandate. I believe it's a personal choice. And that would also be consistent with, I believe, our county policies as well. So unless there are anything related to that, I have a couple of other issues.
So just to explain that right here, like I guess he was trying to move for some sort of mistrial or something. I don't know if it was a mistrial or not, but about something to do with COVID, and he's trying to use COVID in some way to manipulate the outcome here. And she's not going to have it, but she's way too patient with him here. This is where I got frustrated with her.
Issues I need to address this morning. Go ahead.
The person or the two people rather that are having the COVID concerns. I know you said you wasn't going to ask them had they test positive or the results of any testing. Do you know if there has been exposure on their end to COVID exactly, or is that just a caution thing?
My understanding is that I've had 2 jurors test positive throughout the course of this week. And I'd make a further record that they're the only ones within 6 feet of each other, right? And perhaps our civilian bailiffs, they've not been in obviously contact with anyone in the gallery. I don't know if maybe Attorney Opera might be within 6 feet.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I haven't measured it. Obviously, you're not within 6 feet of any of them. But that's a good question to ask, and I'm glad you asked that. And I wanted to make a record of that as well.
Yeah, that would be my question to it.
And this is where he should just shut up, but he doesn't, like he never does.
Reference to me myself just having the same concern a few weeks ago. So that would be the reason why I would want to know exactly any details that could be provided.
I'm providing all the details that I will. Again, for the record, you have not been exposed, from my opinion, because of the distance that you are away from them, and my understanding based upon my review of county policy.
Just so you guys know, this isn't live. This is from like an hour or so ago. They're on a 15-minute recess.
Too, right? I wanted to make sure they had no concerns, or if they had a concern, to see if I could accommodate it in any way. I'm satisfied that if they don't have a concern, that we can continue forward.
Have they ever, the entirety of the jury though, have they been exposed in any way?
She just answered
I don't know
that.
the specifics because of the 6 foot rule, and no one has asked me to investigate that further.
Wouldn't it be smart though to see?
I agree, Emmy.
I don't believe that's necessary under the circumstances.
Well, if anything, just for future reference, like what if it plays a part later on?
Well, I'll certainly take your concerns under advisement, and if I believe any further questioning needs to be done, I'll do that. At this point, I don't believe it needs to be done, but I'll think about that and I'll take it under advisement. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because if anything, it probably would be smart
Jesus Christ.
for the long run to make sure no one else was compromised, considering that.
Let me make a record there. No one has indicated they are compromised. I don't think we can make assumptions about how anyone who's been exposed or tested is feeling. You can be asymptomatic and test positive. You can have mild symptoms.
She basically
I trust
fed
my
right
jurors
into
that they
this
would report
COVID
if they're not
debate.
able to sit through the proceedings.
Like a
And I
COVID
will-
debate
but I
that you
will
have with
Further
coworkers.
advise them through the
that
bailiffs
goes nowhere.
They are to report any, if they ever get to a point where they feel they're not able to sit through here. And if so that we're advised and I can tell the parties.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because it went from Monday, which at that time it wasn't nothing. Could have been flu, could have been just not feeling well, could have been anything. And then today,
This asshole.
then you kind of worry about tomorrow, Friday, over the weekend.
Mr. Brooks, I share all of those concerns, but my other concern is that we are in the third week of trial and that.
And
we
you
should
take
keep going
every
until,
chance you get to
the
drag
conclusion
this
of
shit out
matter,
and stall.
Understanding what has happened.
All right, I just wanted
Ali
to put
P,
that on
I
the
agree
record,
too
'cause
much.
I appreciate that.
it seemed like the circumstances was different when it was me. Just saying.
Are you making any specific requests given this information?
Well, I believe that the jury clearly all congregate together. I think it would be smart to make sure everybody is tested. I mean, that's it would be smart to do that.
Yeah, but
not
Irish
gonna
Eyes, I
make
agree with
adjustments for the
you,
jurors. That
but
much I can
I
tell you.
think we need, I don't think at this point
And the grounds
a
for the
saint is
denial,
what we need for a judge right now. That's where I'm at.
I'm not going to make that the
I
jurors
praised
that are
her up until today.
contesting. They're the ones who indicated they are comfortable being here. They don't have concerns. And again, I would trust them to report to me if anything changes.
I would trust that too, but it still would refer back to Monday when the first knowledge of someone having an illness or a potential illness was those same questions that were asked today, asked Monday. And
I did
I'm
not.
quite sure.
I certainly questioned them much more. It was a very brief. I put what I said to them on the record earlier. It was certainly not what we did here today, and the record reflects that.
Right. I'm quite sure though that all the jurors Monday said they didn't have any concerns as well. And then now today, someone else, same thing being said. So
I understand what you're
if it
saying.
happens again, same thing being said.
Are you
Right.
making any specific requests as it relates
See, that's-
to this topic and this issue?
Well, you denied the request that.
Any other requests?
See, you could tell she's losing her patience with him, right? But the thing is, and like you're saying, Kelsey 206, I agree with you. And I agree with you too, Irish Eyes, but I'll explain a little bit where my position is on this. He's wasting time. She knows that he's wasting time. But in trying to be super careful, Irish Eyes, what she's also doing is inadvertently letting him have control over her courtroom. He is in control of the courtroom, and that should not be the case. She needs to put her foot down and simply say, listen, I'm not here to teach you the law. I make rulings, and those rulings are final. If you want, you can file appeal after appeal after appeal if you want to. But we're moving on with this case, with you in the room or without you.
Instruction before I get to that, though, Mr. Brooks, I have been thinking about your request yesterday. And I know I indicated to you that I would require you to be there. I've rethought that. I've had the overnight to really think about it. And if that is your decision to not be present for that, what I would say is this. I want you to be advised that you have a right to be at that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much told me yesterday about, everything that was going on. I didn't agree to or consent to it being, well, I was still confused about why did there even need to be a jury view. That was my whole thing. I don't see the relevancy of it. And I also didn't agree with or consent to having to be part of something that I don't see as relevant.
I appreciate you making a record of that, but did you hear what I said, that you have a right to be present for it? I've ruled that let me back up. There's been a request from the state to have the jury look at the vehicle that was recovered by the police and, of course, is alleged to be the vehicle that was driven through the parade. Did you hear me advise you of that?
Yes, I heard.
All right, so that motion was addressed previously, and I granted the request for that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
All right, thank you. So with that, you have a
Right,
right
James Blonde,
to
right.
be present at that jury view. Did you?
His argument here is I didn't
I'm
consent.
informed.
I didn't consent for the murder weapon to be viewed by the jury. So why are my rights being violated? That's his argument here, and it's insane.
And I would like you to be there. I believe it is a piece of evidence. That's why I've drafted jury instruction 152 the way that I did. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
So my question to you then this morning is,
Oh, that would be
do you
awesome.
want to be present at the jury view of the vehicle?
I don't see the reason why I would need to be present.
Well, that's my question to you though, is do you want to be present for it? You are the accused in this case. You're the person who the state has alleged committed these acts. It's the jury view will be to view a piece of evidence that frankly can't come into the courtroom due to its size. And the jury's going to be shown that. So do you want to be present at that?
For the record, I'm not a person. I'm a human being. And
What? I'm not a person.
no, I do
I'm a
not
human
consent
being.
to or agree to being
He
present.
said that out
at
loud,
the jury
folks.
view.
All right, then I'm going to honor his request. But what I am going to do though, is as part of that process in any event, because it's being done in a secure location, is I have ordered that I want to make a record of what's being done. And I want a visual record of what is being done. And so this jury view is going to take place in the Sally Port of the jail. And precautions are being taken so that the jurors do not know where it's at. It'll look like a garage, right? Anything that says jail within the Sally Port is being covered up. That will be verified before anyone is taken in there. They will be transported to there. I'm not sure if they'll walk or drive because it's very close. But then the sheriff's department, because it's, as the court official, I'm in charge of keeping the record, not keeping the record. I'm in charge of making the record. It's the better way to say it. And I want to make sure that there's a record of what is done for this trial and certainly for any appellate purposes if need be. The sheriff's department, the sheriff's department is obviously charged with the security and safety of a courtroom, including the jurors. And so I have asked the sheriff's department to record. And so there is a camera with that will be on a tripod that will record what's there before anyone gets there. I've instructed them to take that camera to walk around the vehicle and while it's recording, to put it back on the tripod. And before the jurors and the court are brought in, once we are brought in, it will also be recorded, and that contemporaneous recording. So that will be as we will walk around the vehicle one time. That will be recorded, and then both of those recordings are going to be made part of the record. Because the second recording is for the record and has the jurors, at this point, I'm going to seal it so that at least until the conclusion of the case, given the order that I have regarding the what's referenced as an anonymous or numbered jury. So that will be sealed. But what will be released to the public or be made part of the public record, and so therefore any media request, would be that recording that just shows the vehicle without the jurors in it and without the court. So, and then I plan on also bringing that back to the courtroom while the sheriff's department's going to bring it back, and then we'll show it to you at that time.
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
If I have a right to be present, then I have a right to not be present. How can this take place if I don't agree or consent to being present? How can it even still take place without
This guy's so stupid.
me?
It will take place, sir. I'm just going to honor your request not to be there.
I'm asking a question though. How can it take place without my consent?
Guys, I'm putting a
or
link in
agreement?
chat. Make sure to subscribe to this
If you
channel.
don't, it's going to take place. That's how I'm going to answer that, sir.
Make sure to
So you
subscribe
not
to the
going
Geek
there is
Room.
not going to prevent it from happening.
My Lord,
But you can forfeit your right or to
I
be
didn't-
there
I
by your
didn't-
conduct. And by
I
your
didn't.
conduct, by not answering my question, by saying I don't want to be there and I don't consent to it, you will be forfeiting your right to be present and essentially waiving that.
Doesn't I have to sign something for it to be waived?
I don't think so in this case.
Well, yesterday you said something about
I know I said that, and I've
Yeah.
had some time to think
Great
about that
analogy.
further.
Like
Um,
totally, that's what G-Man would be like in court. Very great observation. Yes. Yeah, make sure, guys, you subscribe to the Geek Room. Tatted Jedi is part of that crew. And also Frank. Jesus, why can't I think of his old channel name? Crude AF. Jesus Christ, why couldn't I remember that? Total brain farts. Too early for me to be live. But yeah, Crude AF's part of that crew. So looks like Saturday I'm gonna be on that channel. We're gonna have some fun. No crime talk. We're just going to we're just gonna rip some people apart because that's always fun. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that channel, so make sure to subscribe to it. I dropped the link.
I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with you signing anything or even agreeing to the waiver.
so why did I have to do
No,
that?
but Crude will
Or-
probably be there
or-
Saturday.
Well, I'm not going to answer
on the
those
Geek Room.
questions because that
Will
would
we-
be for me to give
So if you
you
miss Crude
an
AF, man,
explanation of the
subscribe
law.
to Geek Room.
No,
I'm
it
just
would
going to
be-
tell you that I'm not going to require a written waiver from you in order to honor your request to not be at the, or even if I phrase it, your lack of consent to the jury view.
And is that lawful law? Because
Sir, I'm not going to
Is
go through
that
all the
lawful
law that
law?
applies to that.
The
This
way
is
I-
my ruling. If you disagree with it and ultimately there is a conviction, you can raise that on appeal. But
no,
your lack
Your
of
Honor.
consent is not going to stop the jury view. It's
It-
going to happen. It's a piece of evidence that I cannot physically fit in this courtroom. It's too big. There's no way to get
It's a
it.
car,
okay,
asshole.
I'm informed of that, but at the same time, if I haven't signed any waiver, how could it be lawful? I haven't given consent or agreement to a jury view. I haven't waived any right.
You don't get to
When
do
the whole
that,
issue was brought
dickhead.
up,
You don't get to do that. The
on
judge
record yesterday,
decides
my first
what
thing
the
that I
jury
said
is
was,
going to
I don't see
see
the relevancy
and
of why
acknowledge
there
as
should
evidence.
even be a jury view.
And the murder weapon
And
is
that
evidence.
was the whole issue. And yesterday I was told about I don't know how you say it, the colloquy or however you say it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know
which
what I
was-
said, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had time to reflect. That was my initial reaction to your statement yesterday, but I've thought about it some more and I'm changing my mind.
So
I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with a colloquy with you and anything in writing. I'm advising you, you have the absolute right to be there. But I'm also advising you that if you choose not to be there, I will honor that request. And I'm not
Your
going
Honor,
to
the
force
way-
you. I'm not going to direct the sheriff's department to, use any type of force, if you will, or require you or get you there without your consent. You either cooperate with that process or you don't.
the way I interpret the law, though, Your Honor, which the law is designed to be interpreted by the people. The way I interpret that is I have the right or essentially to be there or not to be there, and it still has to be an agreement or consent. That's how I interpret the law.
My ruling on that, sir, is I disagree with
But
you.
you interpret
not
the
need
law
to
wrong
provide
because you're
consent.
stupid.
For the jury view to happen. Your objection is noted for the record. I'll make a specific finding today that it is relevant to these proceedings, to this trial. There is an allegation that you drove through the Waukesha Christmas Parade on November 21 of 2021, driving a red Ford Escape, killing 6 and injuring dozens more.
Dozens
The
more. Sorry, I said a
relevance is that
dozen.
there is,
Dozens
in
more.
addition to the charges,
Sorry,
there's
guys.
an enhancer that has been charged as it relates to the intentional homicide charges and the first degree recklessly endangering safety, that you committed those acts while using a dangerous weapon. I would direct your attention to the meaning of a dangerous weapon, that the legal definition that was provided to the jurors in the preliminary jury instructions, and that the jury view is related to the evidence that the state is presenting regarding the charges, and specifically the instrumentality that they allege is the
Thank you,
dangerous
Paige.
weapon. So there's clear relevance of this vehicle and has evidentiary value. Again, your objection is noted for the record, but I will and am permitting the jury view of the vehicle. With that, I'm going to move on to the jury instruction.
I don't agree or consent to that, Your Honor.
I understand your
If I'm not-
objection is well noted for the record. I need to keep going though on the pattern and
I'm
jury.
informed that you need to
pattern.
keep going. I'm not trying to stop you from continuing to go.
Yeah, you are,
I'm merely stating for the record
which you've done a
that there are
dozen
things
times
I do
already.
not understand how they're being permitted versus the Constitution.
And it's been explained to you a dozen times.
I mean, I'm sure you're aware under Article 6, Chapter 2 about the Supremacy Clause, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So how can we disregard?
Mr. Brooks, I'm not disregarding the Constitution. Here's the thing, I've made my ruling, okay? Once I've made a ruling, I do expect that even if you disagree with it, you will not continue to argue it,
It's not
that
arguing.
we will continue on
I'm
with the
seeking
next
to
topic.
understand, Your Honor. It's not an argument.
Mr. Brooks, I'm not going to explain further other than what I have done, my ruling. My ruling stands. Now, I'm going to move on to the jury instruction. I gave the parties
May I
2
respectfully
documents.
reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling?
Your objection is noted. I'm
For the
moving
record,
on
may
to
I
jury.
request a legal and factual basis for your
Mr. Brooks,
ruling, Your
please
Honor?
don't interrupt me, okay? I give you an opportunity to raise your objections and to make your legal
I'm
arguments.
raising
And then I make a
objection now.
ruling, and then you start in on something else. You need to give me your argument all at once.
No, see,
For you to
I
interrupt
disagree,
me
Paige.
afterward is disruptive.
I think that this is exactly what's right with the country, Paige. And I'll explain, okay? The fact that you have the right to represent yourself in a court of law is a beautiful thing that this country has. But unfortunately, there's 2 sides to every coin. There's 2 sides to every coin. Now, the issue is what we need in this case is a judge that is prepared to be stern and handle this guy properly. She is being too nice because at this point, this is the way that I see it, okay? You have the scales of justice, right? The scales of justice are it's an analogy, it's a metaphor for fairness, right? So in order to get justice, what you want to do is you want to get his side and you want to get the people's side and you want to get that balanced in order to reach a fair verdict, right? So what's going on here is this judge right now is allowing that scale of his side to outweigh the people's. He has taken control of the courtroom. He's taken control of this trial. She is not in control. Her job is to maintain that scale. And what she's doing is failing because she's coddling to him. And she's explaining the law when it's not her responsibility to explain the law. It's his responsibility to learn the law if he chooses to represent himself. So the problem is that we have a judge who's not keeping that scale balanced right now. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
To me.
It's not
And
disruptive.
it's interrupting and it's disruptive.
Right.
It's definitely not disruptive.
Well, if that's my view of things, sir, and what I'm putting on the record is that it does disrupt what I'm doing and the flow of what I'm doing and needing to move on, having to interrupt what I'm doing so that I can address that once again. Please, please. I know you may not always agree with my rulings, but I'd ask that you show the courtesy and decorum that is expected of everyone. And once I make a ruling, we're going to move on. You don't need to keep objecting because your objection's already been noted for the record. I'm going to continue. We're going to look at jury instruction 152.
Well,
I gave the parties 2 documents yesterday. One was the pattern instruction, which I've modified.
I've
and then
never
one is the
seen a
draft
judge-
and I'm Mr. Brooks, please
I've
stop.
never seen a judge that would be this nice when he is just muttering under his breath and over her talking. I've never seen that this type of it's crazy to me. Like, she is totally forfeiting control of that courtroom to him. Well, all right. Mystery Maven Esquire, who is an attorney, disagrees with me. I disagree respectfully. I do not believe she is being nice. This judge is doing everything she can to prevent him from appealing later on. This is a unique case. Fair enough. Okay, you would know better than I would. But, I mean, isn't it fair to say that she should not... Isn't it fair to say that the rest of the people in that courtroom and the roles that they have, don't they have rights to just move on? And isn't she in a position to make that happen?
You're continuing to talk over me.
Because
You're interrupting.
You said I have the right to object, and you didn't let me even get to the objection.
I did, sir.
No, you
Okay?
didn't. I was right
Your
in the middle of
objection
it.
comes before the ruling, not
I'm
after. Once
yeah,
make a
no,
ruling,
I agree with
You
you.
made a ruling before we even finished.
If you were here 5 minutes ago, you would have heard me say that I think that that's a beautiful thing, that we have the right to represent ourselves in this country. I just feel like he is manipulating this, and the judge seems to be allowing it. At least it appears that way. You're an attorney. I'm not. You would know better. So I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying this is how it looks to us laymen's, you know?
Finish the conversation, Your Honor. With all due respect,
Brooks,
before
please
we
stop.
even finish,
That's not true. Okay?
you
It's
said
not
I'm going to
true.
make a ruling. As soon as you even started in about
Mr. Brooks, I'm not
having
going
the
to
time to
spend
think.
hours on end making a ruling about a jury view on something I've already decided. All right. So please, I'm asking you to stop. Stop
No,
interrupting me.
You can't
And please
just
listen.
disregard the United States Constitution.
I absolutely
Dude, really, bro? Like, what are you doing? And isn't it like, I mean, is it unreasonable, Mystery Maven? Is it unreasonable to think that like the prosecution, you know, the DA can just ask to like speak in chambers or something and just be like, what can we do at this point to move this on and stop him from doing what he's doing? Because he's just dragging this on. He's trying literally everyone's patience. All of us that are watching at home or at work on our computers right now are losing our patience with this guy. Can you imagine what every single person in that courtroom is going through? Can you imagine what the jury is having to go through, sitting in another room, waiting for this shit to stop, waiting for the judge to take control of this shit so that they could just move on and get back to their lives? He does have the right to do it, but it's not. There's got to be a way to control it to some degree. There's got to be a way. Like, he has taken control of this trial. He has taken control of this courtroom when the judge should be in control.
absolutely am not disregarding the
You
United
are.
States Constitution
not
or the
honoring your oath of
Constitution of
office.
the state
Your
of
Honor, are you
Wisconsin.
not a public servant?
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you're starting to cross the line. You've already crossed it, but I want to keep going. I want
didn't
you in
cross
this
any line.
courtroom. But if you keep interrupting me and putting you on notice that you run the risk of being forfeiting your right to be present in this courtroom and continuing in the next courtroom so that I can effectively and without interruption continue with the proceedings this
So again,
morning.
you're holding me in contempt.
All right. Jury instruction 152, as the state had an opportunity to review it.
Is that a judicial determination that I'm being held in contempt?
And I agree generally with the court's proposed instruction, I did submit kind of a counter.
Like, is that
proposed
his
instruction
tactic?
Following much of the language that.
Is this his tactic? Is his tactic basically just to wear everyone down? Like, because he's facing life in prison. So is his tactic basically just to wear everyone else down? He's like, I got time. I got all the time in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all these other people have lives to get back to. Is his tactic to get somebody or somebody of significance or multiple people of significance in this trial to go, we quit, we give up, fuck this? Right. Okay. That's what I figured, Mystery Moon. How the fuck? Like, that's crazy to me, dude. That is crazy to me that he can get away with that. That there's, I mean, if he could find that loophole, there's got to be some other loophole that the prosecution can use. You know what I mean? There's got to be some other red tape. If he's manipulating and taking advantage the way that he is, you know, and taking control of this trial and basically holding everyone hostage with time wasting, then there's got to be something that the prosecution can do here. Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you. Mean as Panther, crafty as fox with eyes like lynx in the face of Sphinx. I don't know what that means, man, but thank you. Sounds cool. Yes, he chose to boot his attorney. He has tried to get a continuance. So now he's doing this to try and get his way to get a mistrial. He knows he's screwed. Right. That's what I figured. But there's got to be, I mean, there's got to be a way to put a stop to this. Because, I mean, if it's the people versus Darrel Brooks, right? That's what this is. The people versus Darrel Brooks. It's going to get to a point, since this is such a public trial, that the people are going to demand that something gets done. If we're all sitting here watching this trial and getting so frustrated watching it, you know, then it's going to be a matter of time before the people actually speak up and go, something needs to be done. Some elected official needs to find some way to put a stop to this shit. Because what message is that going to send? Think about that. What message is that going to send to somebody else who commits a mass murder? And they're on video and all the evidence is against them. Is that the new way to beat your case? Is, okay, well, I'm going to fire my attorney and then I'm just going to represent myself and I'm going to waste everybody's time and I'm just going to be argumentative, disruptive, and completely disrespectful to the court until somebody gives in, until somebody quits, and then I get let go. Like that, what message does that send? That's a dangerous message.
That you had in your version, Your Honor. I just think it's maybe better to refer to this area as a garage instead of a sally port. I don't know that anybody knows what a sally port is unless they work in this industry. And instead of referring it as being in the Waukesha County Jail, I just suggested a garage attached to the Waukesha County Courthouse. I think that is.
Oh no, I'll have to check that out, Mystery Maven. I've not heard of it.
Any concerns about anybody being in custody or reference to a jail setting. I did email my proposed instruction to your clerk and I e-filed it, but I admittedly just did that a few minutes ago. So that's why I emailed it to the clerk, because it's probably not in your queue yet.
All right, why don't we print that off so that Mr. Brooks can review that as well?
Yeah, everybody in that courtroom looks like hostages, dude. It's crazy. You look at their demeanor is just people who are just stuck in a bad situation and just want to go home.
And that's referring to this quote unquote jury view.
Yes.
All right, I'm going back to live.
Okay. And did you come up with a plan?
This was the gray hooded sweatshirt that I located in the children's playhouse.
All right. And 85. Please identify.
This is the other sandal, which was a left-footed blue sandal slide with the Milwaukee Brewer logo that was also located in the children's playhouse.
Your Honor, permission to admit, or excuse me, move to admit 84 and 85.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Exhibits 84 and 85 are both received.
And I'd like to ask. with the
Same to
court's
you,
permission,
Grandmaster Sid
if
Sophos.
84
You're the
can be
man.
published by the officer standing up and holding up 84 for the jury to view.
Objection, relevancy.
Permission granted.
Why can't he state
Please hold up
relevance?
the sweatshirt, sir.
Objection noted.
Yes. The record to reflect the officer stood up in the jury box. He is holding the exhibit between his waist and forehead. That's the full length of a sweatshirt, and he has passed it from right to left of his body in front of the jury.
Thank you. And then if you would do the same thing, please, sir, you could set that one down, and if you could hold up 84 and 85, one in each hand, and display those for the jury, if that's okay, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, 85 and 86.
Objection.
Your objection's noted. Go ahead.
This guy
witness is
sucks.
standing up still in the witness box. He is holding each one of those exhibits, which I believe is 85 and 86, one in each hand at shoulder height, and he turned a bit from right to left in front of the jury. Thank you, sir. You may sit, or you may sit down.
Specialist Becker, did you check with the homeowner to make sure that the property you just displayed did not belong to the homeowner?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
I personally did not. Somebody else may have.
And how about the sandal in the, by the?
Oh,
site
I was just
fence on
about to
the
light
ground?
another one up, me, you.
Officer
Seriously.
check with the homeowner at that
I'm
residence
like
as well.
trying to keep from doing so.
Overruled. If he knows, the witness may answer.
I do not know if I didn't personally.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Any cross for this witness?
Yes, just 1 second.
Oh my God.
Do you want the items still up by the witness, or can they be taken back to this, or actually brought to my clerks? And
Stalling on every level, like every inch that he gets a chance to stall, he stalls.
And then when you're ready.
You testified earlier in questioning. Well, rather, let me back up. You said the name of the alleged suspect when questioned about the alleged suspect fleeing from the vehicle.
God, dude.
At that time, did you know?
You know what's
The
the
name
most
of the
frustrating
suspect?
about this dude? The most frustrating thing about him
Yes, we did.
is that he is
And how did
tactfully
you obtain that
stalling and trolling this whole
From the
trial.
detectives working the case.
Yet he is the dumbest motherfucker that I've
So you
ever had
yourself
to
didn't
sit
know
here and
until you
listen
were
to.
told. Would that be fair to say?
He's smart enough to manipulate
I was part
this
of the-
entire
part of the brief,
situation,
so I
yet
knew
he's
too.
a fucking
So
moron.
you knew before you were briefed?
That's what makes it so
Yes.
frustrating.
So you knew before you were briefed, then why did you have to be briefed about that information?
Just the gatherings, we briefed every morning, and the gatherings from
We just have to sit
the
here
day
and listen to
before, what
this
we're all
guy
gonna do
be
and stuff like that.
stupid.
The detectives, every detective's working
And
something
he's
different,
forced
so
us into it.
it's, we just kind of gathered as a group like we do every morning and discuss what we all were gathered, or what we all saw. And
Were you
Yeah.
a part of the investigation the night of the incident?
yes, I was.
And what was your detail What was your role? In
And
the investigation
standing
of the
there,
incident?
being one of
Well, I was
like two
activated
people in the whole
for our
place with a
SWAT team
mask
as
on,
part of the-
and
our
and
police
and
SWAT
standing
team.
there
So we were
acting like
activated
he's a
at that
TV
time, so
lawyer.
I
It's
was assisting in that matter
God.
for at
I-
the time being
It's got to be
about this
a
crazy
slap in the
incident,
face to everybody who went
fact
to law school in that
of
room.
all the injuries and victims and unknown suspects at the time. We got activated for our SWAT team.
And you said unknown suspects. What do you mean?
At the time of the incident, we didn't know exactly who the suspects were, if there was one or two at the time. So this was all really fresh information that we received that night. So we got activated right away.
So is it possible that you didn't receive information of the alleged defendant until that evening?
What's up, Phil?
I do not
Farmentino.
recall when exactly we found out who our main suspect was.
Right. Mystery Maven. He's doodling. Yeah. He's he's doodling dicks. And he's not doing anything productive at all. He's just making up crazy, stupid questions.
And in reference to the sweatshirt that you observed in the children's playpen, do you have any information of how that got there?
Not exactly, no, because I didn't follow the footsteps of Darrel Brooks that night.
And seeing as how that you were actively investigating that portion of the investigation, why did you not ask the homeowners if the items belong to them?
I did not ask them. I located it, and then it was turned over to more of the detectives that were handling the case.
The
So
question was
make
why
contact.
why didn't you ask the homeowners?
I don't know. I just didn't.
So it'd be fair to say you didn't know who the items belonged to at that point.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Totally Limey the dumpster squirrel.
You made reference to and the word you used was belief. You made reference to belief that the alleged suspect jumped the fence, and I guess that would refer to where the slide, as you referred it to, was found. How did you come to the determination that a fence was jumped?
During my training experience, my main job role as a warrant specialist, I go out and track a lot of suspects down. And a lot of times those suspects also flee on me. We're at the get in a foot pursuit with them. There's been multiple times where suspects jump over fences to try to get away from police. So that's why I came to that conclusion just during my training and experience.
Perfect
Did
answer.
you chase any suspects during your investigation?
No, I did
A
not.
warrant specialist. That means he catches motherfuckers that
So
run.
that you don't know for sure if any suspect jumped the fence.
And that means he's damn good at it.
That is fair enough, but just during my training experience, that's what I believe may have happened.
So it'd be fair to say you weren't sure exactly.
I guess you could say I wasn't.
Yeah, Phil, he's
100% sure.
representing himself. That's why everybody's so pissed, because he's, oh, this is bad. Like, and it's so shitty, you know, like, I mean, he has the right to do it, but it sucks that he gets to cross-examine his own victims.
You testified earlier, and I don't want to misquote you. I think it was some question of determining the distance. I don't know if that was in reference to where the vehicle was found and where the items that you found were located? Was that the distance that was being referred to?
Yes, I believe so.
Thanks for that clarification. I didn't want to misquote you. How were you exactly able to determine the exact distance of that?
I wasn't able to. I think.
No, Heather Bishop, it doesn't work that way.
Approximately.
Heather Bishop,
So it'd be
I
fair to
mean,
say
this
you
is
don't know the
America.
distance.
Who's to tell you that you're not allowed to defend yourself against accusers? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to be qualified
Did you at any
to
time
defend
see
yourself.
anyone- I guess I will refer to alleged suspect.
Like, if
Did you at any
a
time see
professional
any alleged
boxer
suspects
picks a fight with
drop
me,
any items?
I have the right to hit that motherfucker. You know,
No, I
I got the right to do it, even though I'm not
Did
trained as a
any
professional
alleged
boxer.
suspects
I got the
remove
right
any items?
to cold cock him if I can.
No, I did not.
And of course, Mystery Maven Esquire explained it a lot better than I did. You only need to understand the charges and assist in your own defense. But I stand by my boxing analogy.
And you stated that your search investigation was the next morning.
It was November 23rd, 2021.
And do you
Thank
recall
you.
when that part of your investigation ended?
I would have to it'd be an approximate guess. I don't know how long we were out there exactly. It was that morning and then probably early afternoon, I'm guessing.
And was that the extent of your part in the investigation? After you completed the investigation part?
God, he's so condescending too. There's nothing worse than being condescended to by such a fucking moron.
Did you follow up?
Ugh,
your
it's
part
so
of the
gross.
investigation where it was positioned in the investigation in full?
No, everything was turned over.
Yeah, I
day.
get that,
Phone
Mystery
items
Maven. I
to
mean,
our forensics unit,
and take
to our
note, guys,
forensic
like,
where they handle
again, Mystery
the-
Maven, she is an attorney. She knows the law. And she's making a really, really valid point here. She's saying, as annoying as this is, once this trial ends and he's convicted, we will be grateful that she was so patient because he will have nothing to appeal. This goes into the same justification that I'm giving the law enforcement officers and agencies right now that are investigating the Quentin Simon case. We have to be patient. They have to make sure that they can get a conviction. They can't just go and slap cuffs on somebody just because they know that somebody killed somebody. That's not how it works. They have to collect evidence. There's something called due process. They have to collect enough evidence to make sure that this cannot be that person that they arrest cannot get off on a technicality, that their defense cannot create any doubt. The idea is to collect enough evidence that destroys any chance of their defense creating any doubt to a jury. That's why they say beyond a reasonable doubt. It is the prosecution's job to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. So that same argument, it's basically the same argument. So thank you, Mystery Maven, for clearing that up and pointing that out. Because this applies to me. I'm sitting here going, somebody fucking stop this. But you're making a very valid point. That would be hypocritical of me to think one way, in that case, and then think another in another case, where it's basically the same thing.
The evidence.
Were you ever after that date followed up with by any law enforcement after that?
Well, no.
date?
Nobody's saying that you can't be frustrated either.
Don't really understand what you're saying.
You know,
After your part of the investigation,
because it is
was
frustrating.
completed
There's
on
no
that day,
doubt that
23rd
it's
of
absolutely
November,
frustrating.
2021. Did any law enforcement officers
Like, I'm only
follow up
covering
with
this
you
because of how
about your part
frustrating
of
it
the
is.
investigation?
Not that I recall.
Good point, Christina. True justice is not swift. Right. Like, he's gonna get convicted. Like, there's if they finally get through this without a mistrial, like, there's no way that he's not gonna get the maximum sentence once he's convicted by that jury for sure. Like, I just don't see that playing out any other way.
And you said you turned the items over to.
Yeah, that's because everything camera 3, that's because everything that he's doing is based on bullshit. His whole defense is based on nothing.
No, it was a criminal.
This is all a
evidence
tactic to
forensic
waste time.
Unit of the Waukesha Police Department, specifically Specialist Schmidt.
This is all a tactic to annoy and wear
that
down
says you know what
everyone
happened to the
here.
items?
No, I do not.
Do you know of any procedure once you turn over the items? And well, I believe you said the. Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
Criminal
Evidence.
Yeah, criminal evidence forensic
Criminal
unit.
evidence. Is there any procedure after that in reference to the items? Like what may be done to the items?
Yeah, they would place them into inventory at the Waukesha Police Department. So that's Specialist Schmidt's primary job role at the Waukesha Police Department.
So once you turn over the items, that's pretty much the end of your part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I collect evidence. I don't examine it. I go, hey, this might be evidence. You, whose job title says that you examine the evidence, here you go. I'm going to go work on another case and find evidence on that case. Bye. That's how that works. Everyone has a role.
Would it be fair to say that these items have been kept for quite a while now? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Are items usually kept for this length of time in investigations?
Yes. Typically, yes. Till the case is over.
So it isn't unusual in any way to see items kept roughly a year or so.
No, that's not unusual, especially if it's evidence to a crime.
And what usually happens to the items after the investigation is complete?
You would have to ask the criminal investigations division, the Specialist Schmidt that handles those types of cases. I don't know how they release those items.
So you're not sure, to your best of your knowledge, you're not sure.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, there's nothing about this guy that is sorry for what has happened. Nothing.
Do you recall making a?
This is a woman beating asshole who got pissed off after the fact and decided to mow down people with his mom's car.
Was it?
This dude has no conscience.
No, I believe I wrote my own report.
He does, Phil Farmentino. He does, but there was another cop like the other day, another detective, the one that interrogated him that was on the stand. And he was like, you could tell his patience was being tried the entire time. I felt so bad for that guy.
This would be called a canvas search team.
Yes, that's correct.
And you stated or made reference to it being like a SWAT team.
No, I recall that you asked what I did the prior day of the parade incident. Now, just advise you that I was activated for our SWAT team that day of the parade incident, the actual day. The items that I located on the canvas search team was on the November 23rd.
So, in reference to the SWAT team statement, what do you mean by SWAT team?
Our tactical unit at the Waukesha Police Department.
And what do you mean by canvas search team? Can you explain what exactly is a canvas search team?
That is the group of individuals that we had in our
dude.
criminal investigations divisions. There's a detective specialist. There might have been some officers too. Gathered as a group. I think there's about 10 of us, and we searched the area to try looking for items.
And do you wear regular law enforcement gear, or is there any change in the gear?
Yeah, regular law enforcement gear. So that I wear day to day, every day.
To the best of your knowledge, did you yourself file any claims in this matter?
No, I did not.
You know of anyone who filed any claims in this matter?
No.
Have you at any time saw or read a complaint in this matter?
No.
And do you recall who you were subpoenaed by to testify in this matter?
Yeah, state of Wisconsin.
And who do you refer to?
I know, but I can't look away, Paige. I watch this every day just because, like, I'm just like, something's got to happen.
Do you recall
Something has got to
whose
happen
name was on the subpoena?
to where this guy gets put in his
Do not
fucking
recall that.
place.
So, to the best of your knowledge, would the state of Wisconsin be the plaintiff in this matter?
Yes.
And do you see the state of Wisconsin plaintiff in court today?
Oh my God, dude. God, I wish somebody would just say it. Yes, the people
Is the plaintiff
of the state of
present
Wisconsin
to your
are the
knowledge?
plaintiffs. The people of the state of Wisconsin are the plaintiffs. Everyone in this room. Like everyone in this room, except for the judge and the jury, are here to represent the people and get justice for those victims.
Have you ever been contacted by the plaintiff in this matter? Grounds.
Sustained to the form of the question.
If you were to see the plaintiff, state of Wisconsin, will you be able to identify him?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained to the form of the question.
Like all of the prosecution's objections are getting sustained. All of his objections get overruled. It's hilarious.
As a human being or entity.
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained, not relevant.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to like avoid that semantic argument. I'd be like, yes, the people of Wisconsin are persons. Yes.
Would it be fair to say this isn't your first time during your career testifying in any type of criminal matter?
Yes,
Yes, as in,
I have testified before.
I'm not sure. Was it
So,
yesterday
to
or was it the day
assume that
before that he got booted out of court? That she
you understand
made him sit in the other room on a timeout.
plaintiffs and defendants, correct?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained, not relevant.
No, I know, but like the majority, Patty.
Are you aware that only a living human being can bring a claim against a defendant?
Objection, irrelevant, argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained for those reasons. And as to the form of the question.
To the best of your knowledge, who can bring a claim against a
And he does it every day.
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained, not relevant.
She totally put him on timeout.
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. Any redirect?
No redirect of this officer, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Sir, you may step down.
I could start with another officer, but I don't think I'll complete his testimony.
What I'd like to do at this point is advise the jury about what is to happen next. I'm advised that everything is ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now be taken to a garage attached to the Waukesha County Courthouse to view the vehicle recovered by the Waukesha Police Department. You will be taken to the garage by the jury bailiffs. During your trip to and from the garage, or while there, you are not to discuss this case with anyone. While at the garage, you are not to talk, and no one is to talk to you about the case except the judge. You are to remain with the other jurors. You are not to conduct an independent investigation now or at any time during the trial. The court is taking the jury to the garage to provide the jury with an opportunity to view the vehicle, as it is not possible to bring the vehicle into the courtroom. Other than the vehicle, anything you see there is not evidence in the case and should not be considered as evidence. At this time, please rise for the jury.
Field trip.
And the jury bailiffs will wait until further instructed as to when to bring them over.
He already did, Paige. He spent half the morning
About whether they can
arguing
bring
with the
them
judge
over
about
or
it.
that they should not. All right, thank you. Be seated. We will be in recess while the court and the parties participate or at least observe the jury view. And given that it's 11:35, unless something unanticipated happens that I would need to put on the record right away, then we also will be taking the lunch break after the jury view. I believe we'll be over there for, let me put it this way. I don't think the process is going to take more than a half hour. I think it will take much less than that. I think what might take more is just getting all of us there and situated. But let's say it takes us to noon, we'll take an hour for lunch. So I would expect the parties to be back here at 1. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, but he doesn't get to like he doesn't get to do that. Like, he doesn't get to dictate that, even though he thought that he could, and he thought he could, he tried. But his whole argument was like, I didn't sign a consent for the jury to view crucial evidence in this case. You don't get to make a ruling, Your Honor, without my consent, was his argument, basically. I didn't sign any form of consent to where you get to view the evidence that I mean, it's the alleged murder weapon. So all right, Mystery Maven, hope you win. Unless you're a defense attorney in a case like that. But thanks for your insight. I really, anytime you're in my chat and you add insight, I'm always grateful. So thank you for that. So yeah, this dude has absolutely no idea how the law works. I mean, what a judge, like, that's what a judge does. The judge makes rulings. That's what, you don't get to be like, I didn't sign off on your ruling, judge. Oh my God, this guy sucks. I'm going to go ahead and log off. I'm going to head to the gym. I don't know if I'll come back on. I mean, I'm going to go live later. I've got some stuff to talk about regarding the circus that is the Quentin Simon case right now. I'm going to go over some of that stuff tonight. I don't know what time tonight, but probably early in the evening. But I don't think I'm going to go back live regarding this trial today. But, whatever happens, we'll discuss in the live, in the unrelated live tonight. Any, updates, things of that nature. But thanks for joining me. I love you guys very much. And we'll do this again very soon, my friends.